Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to impress someone, the less interested they seem? It's almost like chasing a butterfly. The more desperately you reach for it, the further it flies away. You show them your best qualities, go out of your way to be likable, and yet, instead of drawing them closer, you feel them pulling away. It's frustrating, confusing, even humiliating. You put in the effort, hoping they'll see your value, but instead, it feels like they're looking right through you. It's like shouting into the wind. No matter how loud you are, it carries your voice away, leaving you unheard. This isn't just some fluke or bad luck. There's a reason why trying too hard to impress someone often backfires. And once you understand it, you'll never make this mistake again. When you're desperate to win someone's approval, you unknowingly put yourself in a weaker position. It's like a beggar holding out their hands, hoping for scraps of attention. And people don't admire beggars. They admire kings. The more you try to prove your worth, the more you send the message that you don't believe in it yourself. It's a paradox. The harder you chase, the faster they run. This is human nature. We're drawn to what seems rare and self-sufficient, and we devalue anything that seems too eager to please. Think about the people who naturally attract attention. They don't bend over backward to impress anyone. They don't seek validation. They simply exist in their own world, and that effortless confidence is magnetic. So, what's the alternative? If trying to impress them pushes them away, what actually pulls them in? Instead of trying to prove yourself, be indifferent to their approval. This doesn't mean being rude or cold. It means being centered in your own value, regardless of what they think. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of history's greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If your thoughts are consumed by trying to impress someone, you've already lost. But if you shift your mindset, if you believe that you are enough as you are, everything changes. Confidence isn't built by convincing others to like you. It's built by being at peace with yourself. When you stop trying to impress, you create a sense of mystery, an aura of self-respect. And that's infinitely more attractive than desperation. You don't need to tell people how great you are. You don't need to prove anything. Just exist in your own power, and they will feel it. Look at the great leaders, the people who naturally command respect. They aren't loud, they aren't flashy. Their presence alone is enough. They speak less, but their words carry weight. They don't seek approval, but they receive admiration. This is the shift that changes everything. Instead of running after them, let them come to you. Instead of proving yourself, let your actions speak for you. Instead of trying to be liked, be someone worth admiring. When you stop chasing, you stop repelling. And when you stop repelling, you start drawing them in. So, if you've ever felt exhausted from trying too hard, from constantly seeking validation, it's time to let go. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not for them, but for you. Because the moment you do, everything changes. And that's the real secret. But before you go, let me ask you this. Who holds the real power in any interaction? The one chasing or the one being chased? Think about it. Let me know your answer in the comments. And if this message resonated with you, take a moment to declare it. Comment below, "I am valuable." Say it, believe it, own it. Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss powerful insights like this. Your growth starts now. Let's make it happen. 1. Stop running after them. Let them come to you. The more you chase, the further they run. It's a law of human nature, as predictable as the tide pulling away from the shore. When someone senses that you're trying too hard to win them over, they don't see effort. They see desperation. And desperation kills attraction faster than anything else. You might believe you're proving your worth, showing how much you care, making them realize how lucky they are. But in reality, all you're doing is sending one clear message. You're willing to overextend yourself for their attention without requiring them to do anything in return. And that's where the balance breaks. Here's a hard truth. The moment they realize they have your full focus without having to earn it, something shifts. They don't pull away because they're cruel or ungrateful. They pull away because that's how people work. We value what we must work for. The easier something is to get, the less it's worth in our eyes. This principle isn't just about relationships, it applies everywhere. Why do luxury brands maintain their status? Not by being available to everyone, but by being selective. The rarest things command the highest desire. The moment something is too accessible, its value drops. Now, here's where everything flips. The moment you stop chasing, something unexpected happens. When you step back, not out of pettiness, not as a trick, but because you respect your own time and energy, people start noticing. Suddenly, they wonder why your attention isn't fixated on them anymore. They start questioning, reflecting, and in that silence, attraction is reborn. You're no longer just another person vying for their approval. You become the one who isn't playing the usual game. And that's intriguing. That's powerful. Think about it. When was the last time you felt an irresistible pull towards someone who was always available, always eager to please, always proving their worth? Rarely, if ever. Because deep attraction isn't about being the most accommodating person in the room. It's about being the one who is self-possessed, unshaken, moving with quiet confidence. A person who knows their worth doesn't beg for attention. They don't measure their value based on how others react to them. They simply are, and that presence alone is magnetic. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Most people give their power away. They let someone else's approval define their self-worth. But the moment you stop waiting for validation and start demanding the best for yourself, everything shifts. Why does this work? Because people are drawn to confidence, not arrogance, not coldness. True, quiet confidence. When you stop chasing, you stop repelling. When you stop proving yourself, you start attracting. When you step back, you create space for them to come to you. Some might wonder, but what if they don't come back? The answer is simple. Then they were never truly interested to begin with. And isn't that worth knowing? Do you really want to waste time on someone who only wanted you when you were bending over backward for their attention? Epictetus said it best. How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? So step back, not as a test, not as a manipulation, but as an act of self-respect. Give them the space to feel your absence, and in that space, let them come to the realization that what is truly valuable isn't the one who chases, but the one who knows their worth and lets others come to them. 2. Let silence speak. The power of quiet confidence. Real confidence doesn't need a microphone. It doesn't beg for attention, and it doesn't chase approval. It simply exists, like a mountain standing tall without needing to announce its presence. Too many people believe they need to talk about their success, list their accomplishments, or prove their worth through words. But confidence isn't something you explain. It's something you embody. The moment you start explaining it, you weaken it. Think about a crowded room. Who commands more respect? The one constantly talking about how successful they are, or the one who moves with quiet assurance, letting their presence do the talking? It's always the latter. Because confidence isn't loud. It doesn't seek validation. It doesn't ask for permission. It simply is. A truly self-possessed person doesn't need to convince others of their worth. They don't seek recognition or demand attention. They understand a simple truth. Value doesn't announce itself. It is recognized. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, stop worrying about what others think. The more you need to prove yourself, the more you show that you don't believe in your own worth. But the moment you let go of the need for approval, something shifts. You become the kind of person people naturally admire. Imagine this. You walk into a room and say nothing, yet people notice you. Why? Not because you're showing off, but because of how you carry yourself. Your energy speaks before you do. Instead of nervously explaining how ambitious you are, you simply live it. The way you move, the way you listen, the way you remain unshaken by external validation, all of it sends a stronger message than words ever could. Think about those who truly command respect. They are not the ones shouting about their power. They are the ones who simply own it. A lion doesn't need to announce that it's a lion. It just is. Now, some might wonder, but if I don't say anything, won't people overlook me? The answer is no. In fact, it's the opposite. The less you try to impress, the more people pay attention. Why? Because silence is intriguing. When someone isn't constantly proving themselves, others become curious. Who is this person? What makes them so sure of themselves? That curiosity is powerful. This is the difference between someone who is truly confident and someone who only wants to appear confident. The latter seeks approval, while the former simply exists. People can sense the difference. Look at the great leaders throughout history. The most influential figures weren't the ones who talked the most. They were the ones who carried themselves with an unshakable presence. They knew their worth, and because they believed it, others did too. So stop trying to prove yourself. Stop explaining. Stop seeking validation. Instead, become undeniable. Let your actions speak. Let your presence command the room. Let silence do the work for you. Because real confidence, it doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It doesn't chase. It simply whispers, and the whole world listens. 3. Master the art of not caring and watch them chase. People test others without even realizing it. It's human nature. They want to know if the confidence someone projects is real or just a mask. So, they throw little challenges, ignoring a message, teasing, giving subtle pushback, not to be cruel, but to see how the other person reacts. The moment someone gets defensive, over-explains, or shows frustration, they fail the test. Why? Because it reveals that their confidence isn't real. It's fragile. It depends on external validation. And nothing kills attraction faster than someone who needs constant reassurance to feel whole. A truly self-possessed person, however, is different. They don't crave attention. They don't need approval. They understand that their worth isn't dictated by anyone's reaction. It comes from within. This is why the most magnetic people aren't the ones who try the hardest, but the ones who remain unshaken. Seneca once said, "Wealth is having few wants." The same applies to attraction. The less you seek, the more naturally you receive. Picture this. You're in a conversation and someone playfully challenges you saying, "I bet you say this to everyone." A reactive response would be scrambling to prove sincerity. No, I really mean it. But someone with true confidence, they just smirk and say, maybe not. Guess you'll have to find out. No over-explaining, no desperation, just effortless composure. That moment, that subtle refusal to prove anything, shifts the entire dynamic. Instead of seeking validation, they become the one who naturally attracts it. Now, some might ask, but isn't indifference cold? Doesn't it push people away? Not at all. Indifference isn't about not caring. It's about not needing. It's about showing that you are enough, regardless of what happens. Think about the most captivating figures throughout history. Were they the ones begging for approval? Or were they the ones who moved through life with quiet certainty, untouched by the chaos around them? When you stop being emotionally reactive, everything changes. The power dynamic flips. Instead of waiting for someone else's approval, you become the one they try to impress. Because here's the truth. Nothing is more attractive than a person who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. They already know their worth. And that's power. 4. Speak less, be heard more. Words lose their power when there are too many of them. The more someone talks, the less impact their words carry. Silence, on the other hand, is magnetic. It creates space, builds intrigue, and commands attention. Too many people think they need to fill every gap in conversation, explaining themselves, telling long-winded stories, or trying to impress with words. But here's the truth. Mystery creates attraction. The less you say, the more weight your words carry. The more you hold back, the more curiosity you create. Think about it. Who is more intriguing? The one who spills their entire life story in the first conversation, or the one who reveals just enough to spark interest? It's always the second. The one who makes others wonder. The one who doesn't lay all their cards on the table right away. Anticipation fuels attraction. What is given too easily is never valued. There's a reason why luxury brands don't flood the market with endless products. Scarcity increases demand. The same applies to words. If someone is used to hearing a constant stream of validation and explanations from others, what stands out? The one who speaks with intention, the one who knows when to be silent. Marcus Aurelius said it best: "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Instead of explaining confidence, be confident. Instead of telling people about ambition, let actions prove it. Instead of over-explaining every detail of life, say just enough, then let curiosity do the rest. Picture this. A conversation takes a personal turn and someone asks, "What happened in your last relationship?" One response is to overshare, explaining every reason why things didn't work out, trying to justify and prove something. Another response? A simple, "We had different paths, and that's okay." Short. Director. It leaves them thinking, wondering, wanting to know more. That's the power of restraint. People are used to hearing others explain, justify, or seek approval through words. But when someone breaks that pattern, when they let silence do the work, it creates a shift. Some might wonder, but what if they misunderstand me? What if they assume something wrong? That's where confidence comes in. Those who are secure in themselves don't need to control how others perceive them. They understand that mystery is an advantage, not a weakness. Look at the most captivating figures in history. They weren't the ones who spoke the most. They were the ones who spoke with purpose. Their silence carried more weight than most people's words. They understood the power of presence. The moment someone stops trying to explain their worth and simply embodies it, everything changes. Words become sharper, energy becomes stronger, and respect comes naturally. Because when someone speaks less, the world listens more. 5. Stay cool. Stay in control. Mastering emotional strength. The ability to remain calm under pressure is one of the rarest and most powerful traits a person can have. It separates those who crumble at the first sign of adversity from those who stand firm, unshaken by the chaos around them. People will test patience, not because they want to make life difficult, but because they are wired to see if someone is as strong as they appear. Emotional control isn't just attractive, it's a sign of true power. It shows that nothing and no one has control over your state of mind. But the moment emotions start dictating reactions, getting frustrated over a delayed reply, becoming irritated by a cold response, or lashing out when challenged, it signals something weak. It shows that your peace is dependent on external forces, and the person who can be easily pushed off balance, they lose respect instantly. The strongest individuals are the ones who stay composed, who don't let fleeting emotions dictate their actions. Because real control isn't about controlling others, it's about mastering oneself. Seneca put it best: you suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of the emotional turmoil people experience isn't even real. It's created in their own minds. Think about it. How many times has an overreaction led to regret? How often has a minor issue been blown out of proportion only to seem insignificant in hindsight? Maybe someone didn't text back fast enough and the mind immediately assumed the worst. Maybe a conversation felt distant, and instead of staying centered, emotions took over, leading to unnecessary stress. But what if none of it actually mattered? What if the suffering was never about the situation itself, but about the reaction to it? Now, picture a different version of yourself, one who doesn't let small things shake them. Someone takes longer to respond. No problem. Life continues. Someone throws a challenge your way. It's met with a smirk and unshaken composure. Someone tries to get an emotional reaction. They're met with calm indifference. That kind of presence commands respect because it's rare. Most people are ruled by their emotions, reacting to every little trigger. The few who don't, they stand out. Emotional control isn't just a relationship skill, it's a life skill. The person who controls their emotions controls their world. The one who learns to let go of unnecessary suffering becomes unshakable. So next time emotions start rising, stop, take a breath, pause before reacting. Because the moment you master your emotions, you stop being controlled by anything outside yourself. And that is true strength. 6. Actions speak. Words mean nothing without proof. Talk is cheap. Anyone can say they're confident, ambitious, or different from the rest. But without action, those words mean nothing. They fade like smoke in the air, leaving behind no real impact. Attraction isn't built on promises, it's built on proof. Too many people make the mistake of talking about their qualities instead of embodying them. They say, "I'm not like the others," but if they're constantly seeking validation, reacting emotionally, or neglecting their own purpose, those words fall flat. People don't fall for claims, they fall for energy, presence, and the quiet certainty of someone who lives what they say. No one is drawn to a person who tells them they are high value. They are drawn to the one who shows it, the one who prioritizes their goals over distractions, the one who stays composed under pressure, the one who moves with discipline and purpose, whether anyone is watching or not. A true leader doesn't announce, "I'm a leader." They simply lead. A powerful person doesn't need to declare their worth. They embody it. The strongest individuals don't boast about their strength. As the saying goes, a strong man doesn't announce his strength. He simply lifts the weight. Picture this. Someone says, "I'm really confident," but their body language tells a different story. They fidget, they hesitate, they over-explain. That's not confidence, that's insecurity, disguised as bravado. Now, imagine another person who says nothing, yet their presence commands attention. They move with certainty, they speak with clarity, and they remain unshaken by pressure. That's real confidence. And people feel it without a single word being spoken. This principle applies everywhere. A true master of their craft doesn't have to constantly prove their skill. Their work speaks for itself. The most respected leaders don't demand recognition. They lead by example, and respect follows naturally. Some might wonder, but won't they misunderstand me if I don't explain myself? In fact, the opposite happens. The less you try to convince others of your worth, the more they recognize it. When someone stops seeking approval, they become the one who is naturally admired. There's a reason why silence is powerful. It forces people to observe instead of listen. When words are few but precise, they carry weight. When actions align with purpose, they speak louder than any promise ever could. So stop trying to explain your worth. Stop wasting time convincing others. Let your presence do the work. Let your discipline be seen. Let your confidence be felt. Because when words fade, only actions remain. And those who move with quiet certainty never have to prove a thing. 7. Let go or be dragged. The power of walking away. Clinging to what is slipping away is the quickest way to lose not just control over the situation, but over yourself. The moment someone starts chasing what is clearly pulling away, they give up their power. A person who can walk away without anger, without pleading, without resentment, is someone who commands respect. No one admires desperation. They admire strength. And strength is knowing when to let go. Walking away isn't about being cold. It's not about playing games. It's about self-respect. If someone is pulling back, acting indifferent, or treating you as an afterthought, the worst response is to hold on tighter. That only reinforces their belief that you will always be there, no matter how they treat you. But when someone has the strength to detach, to say, "I won't force what isn't meant for me," everything shifts. They instantly become more powerful, more respected. Because real confidence isn't about fighting for what doesn't want to stay. It's about knowing that you never have to beg for what is truly yours. Epictetus once said, He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing. If someone constantly needs reassurance, if they keep chasing after someone who only gives them crumbs, they are proving that they don't value themselves. They are proving that they need external validation to feel whole. And that is a losing game. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone who is truly self-assured, begging for attention? Number. Because they know that if one person doesn't see their worth, someone else will. They know that their value isn't dependent on anyone's approval. Now, picture this. Someone is distant, sending mixed signals, showing no real effort. Instead of demanding clarity, overanalyzing every action, or pleading for attention, the response is simple. They walk away. Not as a test, not as a tactic, but because they refuse to waste their time where they are not valued. And suddenly, everything changes. Either the other person realizes what they lost and starts chasing, or they continue to drift away, which only confirms that walking away was the right choice all along. Either way, they win. The power of walking away isn't about manipulating someone into wanting you. It's about knowing your own worth. It's about refusing to settle for anything less than what you deserve. It's about choosing yourself first. And when someone has the courage to do that, they don't just gain respect, they become irresistible. 8. Build a life they want to join. Many individuals make the mistake of centering their existence around another person, believing that if they shower that person with constant attention and affection, they will be held close forever. Yet, true attraction doesn't flourish on desperate gestures or endless pursuit. Instead, it emerges from living a life that is vibrant, purposeful, and relentlessly forward-moving, whether or not anyone else is involved. In other words, no one truly desires to be the sole purpose of someone else. They want to be part of a dynamic journey, a life already ablaze with ambition and meaning. Imagine a river that carves its own path through rugged terrain. This river flows with unstoppable force, unperturbed by obstacles because it follows its own momentum. It does not wait for another to determine its course. It shapes its destiny. This is the essence of building a life that attracts others. When you commit your energy to developing your career, honing your fitness, enriching your mindset, and pursuing your passions, you become like that river, self-sufficient, magnetic, and dynamic. Instead of chasing after fleeting approval, you are busy chasing something far greater, your own purpose. A timeless piece of Stoic wisdom reminds us, a man who controls his focus controls his fate. By directing your attention toward what lies within your control, your discipline, your actions, your vision, you lay the groundwork for a life that is both powerful and inspiring. External validation is ephemeral, vanishing with the slightest change in circumstance. But purpose, when nurtured, is eternal. When you live with clear intention and commitment, you naturally radiate an energy that draws others to you. They see someone on a mission, a person whose life is in constant, meaningful motion, and they want to be a part of it. You might ask, but what if by focusing solely on my goals, I risk missing out on meaningful relationships? It's a fair question. However, relationships built on the foundation of a strong, purpose-driven life are far more satisfying than those that revolve around dependency or constant need for validation. When your life is anchored in your personal mission, any relationship that emerges is a bonus, a chance for someone to join an already thriving journey rather than being the center of it. Consider a scenario where instead of spending hours texting, waiting for a reply, or rearranging your entire schedule for someone else, you dedicate your time to your own pursuits. You hit the gym, invest in your career, absorb new knowledge, or simply enjoy solitary moments that fuel your creativity. This isn't about rejecting connection. It's about celebrating your self-worth. When you immerse yourself in the pursuit of your own dreams, you exude an irresistible energy that naturally attracts others. They notice that you aren't waiting around for someone to complete you because you are already whole, and you are continuously evolving. Think of it like tending to a garden. When you're so busy, fixated on whether every bloom meets someone else's approval, you lose sight of the inherent beauty that unfolds when you nurture your own growth. The most radiant flowers are those that flourish under careful, dedicated attention. In the same way, when you invest in yourself, you create an environment where relationships blossom naturally, adding depth and richness to your life rather than distracting you from your true purpose. Ancient philosophers taught us that genuine fulfillment comes from within. A life built on seeking external approval is as fragile as a house of cards, ready to collapse at the slightest disturbance. In contrast, a life constructed on a solid foundation of personal values, ambition, and unwavering pursuit of one's goals can withstand any storm. Every step you take in building your life becomes a testament to your strength and clarity of purpose. You transform into a beacon, drawing those who share a similar vision and inspiring them to pursue their own paths of self-improvement. This understanding brings about a profound shift. Your value is no longer measured by someone else's validation, but by the milestones you achieve, the obstacles you overcome, and the relentless vision you uphold. As you cultivate your own success, you begin to interact with the world differently. You no longer feel compelled to wait for someone's nod of approval because you already know that your worth is inherent and independent of external factors. So, if you find yourself tempted to rearrange your entire life just to please someone else, pause and reconsider. Build a life so rich in purpose and achievement that it becomes a magnet for others, an invitation for them to join a journey that is already in full, dynamic motion. Embrace your mission with fervor, invest deeply in your dreams, and let your success speak volumes on your behalf. Now is the time to shift your focus from chasing after validation to embracing the power of your own destiny. The life you build for yourself isn't merely a personal triumph. It's a powerful statement that resonates with those who recognize true strength and purpose. Stand firm in your vision and let your journey become a legacy that inspires others to follow suit. Live your mission unapologetically and watch as the right people are drawn to join you along the way. 9. Play it cool. Keep it light and fun. Attraction thrives on playfulness, not on clinging desperately for approval. When interactions are filled with light-hearted banter and a relaxed sense of humor, a magnetic energy is created that draws people in. Imagine a lively dance where every step is spontaneous yet graceful. That's the vibe of playfulness. It's about sharing a laugh over a quirky moment rather than overanalyzing every word. When someone can meet a teasing remark with a confident smile or a witty comeback, it sends a powerful message. They're secure in who they are, and they don't need to chase validation. Being overly serious or too eager to please can kill the natural spark that ignites genuine connection. when every silence is filled with frantic explanations or constant attempts to impress, the air of mystery evaporates. It's like trying to catch fireflies with a net that's too big. You end up capturing nothing but noise. The key is to let words be few and moments speak volumes. A well-timed smirk or a playful quip has the power to transform tension into a shared joke, diffusing any pressure and inviting a sense of ease. Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This insight reminds us that no external comment or teasing remark should dictate our inner peace. When faced with a light tease or a small test, the strongest response is not one of defensiveness, but of relaxed humor. It's the difference between reacting as if every word is a threat versus understanding that a playful challenge is merely an invitation to share in the fun of the moment. By laughing at tension, one takes control, turning potential discomfort into an opportunity for connection. Some might wonder, what if my playful banter is misunderstood as not taking things seriously enough? The answer lies in balance. Playfulness is not about disregarding the importance of meaningful conversation. It's about demonstrating emotional security. When someone is comfortable enough to joke and laugh, even in uncertain moments, it shows they are in command of their feelings. It reveals that their confidence isn't built on a facade of constant reassurance, but on the solid ground of self-assuredness. Think of it this way: a well-tuned instrument doesn't need to shout to be heard. Its melody carries naturally, captivating those who listen. In the same manner, a person who maintains a playful demeanor doesn't have to over-explain every detail of their character. Their presence alone is a symphony of assurance, where every smile, every light-hearted remark, and every moment of shared laughter resonates more deeply than a barrage of words ever could. Consider a typical scenario on a date. If the conversation takes a teasing turn, say a remark like, "You probably say that to everyone," a needy response might involve scrambling for explanations, desperately trying to prove sincerity. But a person who understands the art of playfulness will simply return the tease with a confident, "Only the exceptional ones get that treatment." That reply isn't about deflecting criticism. It's about showcasing a light-hearted spirit that refuses to be weighed down by insecurity. It's a response that not only diffuses any tension, but also signals that the moment is meant to be enjoyed rather than dissected. Playfulness in interaction is like the refreshing splash of cool water on a hot day. It revives, energizes, and invites everyone to join in the fun. It shows that you can embrace life's uncertainties with a wink and a nod, transforming potential conflicts into opportunities for shared joy. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't demand constant validation. Instead, it creates an atmosphere where genuine connection can flourish without the pressure of perfection. In every interaction, whether casual or significant, choosing playfulness over neediness can completely flip the dynamic. It takes away the weight of expectation and replaces it with a sense of freedom and spontaneity. It tells the world that you are secure enough to be yourself without having to prove anything. And that kind of confidence is incredibly attractive. When you let go of the need to control every detail and simply enjoy the ebb and flow of conversation, you open the door to deeper, more authentic connections. Ultimately, the person who can laugh in the face of tension and maintain a light, playful approach is the one who truly owns the room. They are the ones whose presence makes others feel at ease, whose humor disarms potential conflict, and whose relaxed confidence leaves a lasting impression. So, embrace the art of being playful, not needy. Keep it cool, keep it fun, and let your true self shine through every interaction. 10. Stand tall and demand respect. How you allow others to treat you sets the tone for every relationship you build. If you tolerate disrespect, if you let people walk all over you, or if you constantly seek approval, don't be surprised when genuine admiration fades away. Respect isn't something you simply demand. It's something you demonstrate every day through your actions, your boundaries, and the way you carry yourself. Imagine you're an artist painting your life's portrait. Every stroke you make reflects your inner value. When you let others scribble over your canvas without protest, you're essentially erasing the masterpiece you're meant to create. A person who respects themselves won't allow their picture to be tarnished by careless hands. Instead, they set firm lines around what is acceptable, knowing that these boundaries are not just rules, but a testament to their self-worth. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that if you're attractive or charming enough, you can afford to ignore mistreatment. But here's the hard truth. If you continuously let someone treat you as an option, you're signaling that your value is up for negotiation. As Epictetus wisely put it, if you want to be respected, respect yourself. This ancient wisdom isn't just about ancient philosophers. It's a practical guide for today's world. It means knowing when to walk away from situations that don't serve you and standing firm in your values, even when it's tough. Consider this scenario. Imagine a partner who repeatedly cancels plans at the last minute or treats your time as insignificant. Every time you let it slide, you're silently saying that their behavior is acceptable. That energy is not lost on others. It communicates that you are willing to compromise your worth to avoid conflict. In contrast, when you enforce your boundaries, calmly addressing a missed commitment or simply removing yourself from the situation, you make it clear that your time and energy are valuable. This isn't about being confrontational, it's about preserving your dignity. Some might wonder, what if I lose someone I care about by setting these boundaries? The answer is in the nature of true respect. Genuine relationships are built on mutual regard, not on desperate attempts to please. When you demand respect from yourself first, you create an environment where others are compelled to mirror that behavior. It's like planting a seed in rich soil. The right conditions will naturally yield a beautiful, thriving plant. When you care for yourself, you become a beacon that draws in those who appreciate strength and self-assurance. Think of the strongest trees in a forest. They don't bend every time the wind blows. They stand firm, their roots deep in the ground. Their resilience isn't showcased by how loudly they rustle in the storm, but by the silent power of their presence. In the same way, your self-respect is shown in how steadfastly you hold your ground. When you stand up for yourself, you not only protect your own space, but you also inspire respect in others. Ask yourself, how do you see yourself? Do you view yourself as someone of immense value, or do you allow others to dictate your worth? The answer lies in your everyday actions. If you shrink yourself to avoid conflict or allow disrespect to pass without consequence, you are giving away your power. On the other hand, if you treat yourself like a person worthy of dignity, people will notice. They will naturally begin to mirror the respect you command. A strong person doesn't need to yell for acknowledgement. They simply live in a way that makes their worth obvious. They don't chase after validation because they already know who they are. Their behavior, their calm when facing adversity, and their commitment to personal values send a clear message. I am valuable. And when you embody that truth, you become irresistible. Others, whether friends, colleagues, or potential partners, will gravitate toward you, not because you demanded it, but because your presence exudes self-assurance. So, stand tall and set those boundaries firmly. Honor your time, protect your energy, and never allow anyone to diminish your light. Let your actions speak louder than words. When you do this, respect isn't something you ask for. It's something you naturally receive. Embrace your worth and let it shine through in everything you do. If you believe in your value, others will too. Now is the time to own your power and demand the respect that comes with it.